Welcome back. India has moved up in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking, but just by one place. India is now ranked 130 among 189 nations. Not just that, India's last year ranking has been revised downwards to 131. And because of that, we see this improvement by one place. CNBC-TV18's Rituparna Bhuya spoke exclusively to the Secretary of the Industrial Policy and Promotion Network, Ramesh, Abhishek, on the reasons for this marginal improvement. Take a look.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. In 2016, the 2016 report of Ease of Doing Business, which was released by the World Bank, our rank had improved substantially by around 12 ranks. But this year, we have seen it improve by only one. And our rank stands at 138. Can you explain to us what is the reason behind an improvement only by a notch this year in the Ease of Doing Business rankings?
In this doing business report brought out by the World Bank this year, we have done well in getting electricity connection.
Yes.
Our rank has gone up from 70 to 26.
Yes.
So there is an improvement of 44 ranks. In enforcement of contract, our rank has gone up by 6. And in 3 parameters, it is same. And in 5 parameters, there has been some amount of reduction.
Yes.
And overall, there is an improvement of 1 rank. World Bank has recognized 4 of the reforms that we have implemented, and these are electricity connections done by Tata Power here, and commercial codes that have been set up, commercial benches have been set up, and ESIC, payment of taxes, and they have done this ICE gate done by the Customs Department.
Right.
And 2 of these reforms are reflected in the improved rankings. The other 2 have not been reflected because of maybe some improvement done by the other countries. But there are 12 reforms which have not been recognized. Some of them, of course, were implemented late. Construction permit issue was a major reform done by municipal corporations in Delhi and Mumbai. And these online systems, etc., were set in motion in April and May this year.
Right.
So
which means that this is on a technical point, wherein we have seen a rank of 185 in versus 183 last year in the construction permit sector. You are saying that perhaps because of the timeline adopted by World Bank, that has not reflected in the rankings.
Yes, actually the online systems were put in place in April and May this year, and World Bank takes private sector respondents' view by 31st May.
Yes.
So we are confident that this will get reflected in next year,
right,
because the reforms have to be done slightly early,
right,
so that the end users are also convinced, right, that these have been done. Right. So, and there are so many other reforms. Bankruptcy insolvency code is there. It is going to be implemented by December. This will get reflected next year.
Right.
And if GST comes in place as is planned in April, this will make a big difference to starting business and paying taxes. And there are a lot of other reforms also which we had done.
Right.
So we will engage with the World Bank, and we will work on their acceptance by the bank next year.
Right. I'll just take your time in discussing 2 of the parameters. For example, in paying taxes, our ranking has decreased from 157 last year to 172. Same for trading across borders. Our ranking has decreased from 133rd to 143. What is the reason for this decline? Perhaps this is one of the reasons why our rankings could not improve much in this year's ranking.
In paying taxes, they have recognized the reform that has been done by the ESIC. Right. For online payment of taxes. But for EPF also we had done the same reform, but they have said that it was done in part of the year, and their methodology requires that this should be done in the full year. So they have said that this will be reflected in next year's report.
Right.
So while reform has been done and we have argued because of their methodology, they will reflect that in next year. So in payment of taxes, we had done all this work.
Right.
But when the GST comes in next year,
right,
I think there should be a substantial improvement in our ranking on payment of taxes.
Right. I'll get you on the point regarding GST. As of now, we want to, implement GST by 1st of April 2017. Of course, after implementing GST, states will have to adopt it, businesses will have to adopt it. So when do we actually see the impact of GST on the Ease of Doing Business rankings? Clearly, it will not happen in 2017. By when do you think the ranking, it will reflect on our Ease of Doing Business rankings?
See, in payment of taxes, World Bank looks at improvement done during the calendar year.
Right.
So if this GST is implemented next year, then this will get reflected in the Doing Business report of 2018, which will come out in next year, not next year, but year after that.
Right.
But in starting business,
right,
we will see a lot of improvement with GST coming in. Because if it happens in April, and if the impact is felt by the end users by end of May, then we can see a lot of improvement because of GST in starting business parameter.
Right. If I can just get your comment again on how many of the reforms which the government of India had enacted in the past 1 year, how many of them have been reflected in this report, and how many of them were not reflected and will be taken up for consideration in next year's ease of doing business report?
See, we had conveyed to the World Bank that we had done 16 reforms.
Right.
4 of them have been recognized.
Right.
2 we accept that Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code and GST will come into implementation will be next year. But we are definitely hoping that the remaining 10 were recognized by them. But there were some methodological issues. We had engaged with them, and we will work with the World Bank and the private sector respondents that these are recognized at least in the next year's report.